You've been wondering, haven't you? Why someone whose soul once felt so close now feels so far away. The angels say, you were never meant to be just a memory in their mind. This person looks at you with a kind of ache they cannot name. You are their silent longing. A presence so luminous it frightens them. You became the sacred ache in their heart, the love they believed would always remain out of reach. But the divine has other plans. This wasn't just a fleeting feeling or a beautiful mistake. You were placed in their path by the hand of something much higher. You were sent not to tease the soul with what could never be, but to awaken it, fully, painfully, beautifully. There is a mission wrapped in this love. A breaking. A rebirth. The angels whisper, she was never here to be easily loved. She was here to remind him of who he truly is. Even if they never said it, you ignited something holy inside them. Not just desire, but remembrance. They began to see life differently because of you. You stirred questions in their spirit that had been dormant for years. And now, even though they try to keep you tucked away in the corner of their mind, heaven won't allow it. You are not invisible to the divine. You are part of the plan. And the plan is beginning to unfold. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. Galatians 2 verse 20. He wanted to love you in a clean, uncomplicated way. But souls like his are not built that simply. The angels reveal, this love, the one he feels for you, did not come to entertain his comfort, it came to confront his wounds. Every time he feels close to you, something inside quakes. Old beliefs. Old betrayals. Unhealed echoes from times when love meant loss, or love meant rejection. He does not run from you. He runs from the mirror you hold. This person carries hidden scars, not all visible, not all confessed. But you, without realizing it, found where they reside. That's why sometimes he seems distant, quiet, and confused. His heart knows you are safe. But his trauma fears what safety might require of him. The angels say, he was never taught that real love could feel like peace. That love could be gentle, steady, silent. So now, he builds walls to protect himself from a battle that no longer exists. He holds back not because you did anything wrong, but because you touched something that is still healing. And deep down he knows, you deserve someone who doesn't shy away from tenderness. But still, he hopes you'll stay close, even when his fear tries to push you away. There is a part of him, small, trembling, alive, that is beginning to wonder if maybe, just maybe, this love isn't here to hurt him. It's here to save him. The angels gently remind you, loving someone does not mean forgetting yourself. You've held so much. Waited in silences that no one else could hear. Shone with light even when your own sky was gray. But now it is time to return to yourself. Because while he figures out how to stop running, you, dear soul, must remember how to keep shining. The connection you feel is real, yes. Sacred, yes. But your heart is not a waiting room for someone else's awakening. The angels say, she is not only a healer. She is a woman. A soul. A light. It's okay to rest. To laugh. To dance again. It's okay to nurture your own flame while his is still learning how to burn. You do not have to prove your worth by carrying everyone else's chaos. Allow yourself to feel the warmth of your own tenderness. Let yourself be nourished, not just by hope, but by joy. He may come closer. He may not. But you, beloved, must not abandon yourself for someone who is still learning how to stay. Your peace is not a sacrifice. It's a prayer. The way you love is rare. The way you wait is sacred. But even holiness needs rest. The angels are placing oil on your forehead tonight. You are still the chosen one, even when you pause to breathe. There's a reason he can't look you in the eye for too long. The angels reveal, your presence is not just a comfort, it is a mirror. And what he sees in you terrifies the part of him that still hides. You reflect what he buried. The dreams he silenced. The softness he punished. The light he forgot. You make him remember. And that is both beautiful and unbearable. He tells himself he doesn't know why he pulls away. But his soul knows. His soul is standing naked in front of a truth it can no longer escape. The angels whisper, she sees him. Not who he pretends to be. Not who he thought he had to become. But who he truly is. And that is the most sacred kind of love. The kind that doesn't demand. Only reveals. That's why he comes close, then retreats. Because the closer he gets, the more his masks begin to melt. And he's not sure what will be left when they do. But still, he returns. Not because he's confused, but because something in him is awakening. He's not afraid of you. He's afraid of being fully seen. But every time your eyes meet, a layer of shadow falls. Every time you smile at him like nothing needs fixing, he begins to wonder, what if he was never broken? There's a shift happening, subtle, sacred, unstoppable. The angels say, he is no longer who he was when he first looked into your eyes. Something has begun to stir. Not loud, not dramatic, but deep. A quiet revolution of the soul. It's in the way he pauses before speaking now. In the way he lingers just a little longer in your presence. In the way he asks questions, not to know your answers, but to feel your energy closer. This is what awakening looks like. Not fireworks, but flickers. Not declarations, but decisions. He's starting to notice the beauty in small things. The grace in being vulnerable. The power in stillness. And every bit of this unfolding was catalyzed by you. The angels reveal, she walked in without armor. And so he began to question his. You didn't try to change him. You simply were. And your being became his invitation. He doesn't have the words yet. But his soul is learning the language of presence. Of truth. Of devotion without fear. This is the beginning of his return, not just to you, but to himself. And though he may not say it, he feels you, in the way sunflowers feel the sun. Silently. Instinctively. Constantly. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1 verse 6. You felt it, haven't you? The coming close. The pulling away. The almosts that never stay. The angels want you to know, this rhythm isn't rejection. It's resistance. And resistance is what happens when a soul meets something it prayed for, but doesn't feel ready to receive. He loves you. That's not the question. The real question is, can he love you out loud? Can he love you beyond his fear of losing control? Because that's what you are to him, uncontrollable. Not wild. Not chaotic. But free. And freedom terrifies someone who's only known love through conditions. So he steps back, to feel safe. Then returns, because nothing else feels right. The angels say, he is not running from you. He is circling back to the place where he last felt grace. This cycle. It's exhausting, yes. But it's also sacred. Because every time he comes back a little softer. A little braver. A little closer to surrender. And every time you choose not to chase, but to remain in your worth, you anchor the healing. One day, the circling will end. Not because he's finished loving you, but because he's finally ready to love you right. And when that day comes, you'll feel it in the silence, where the leaving used to live. There are wounds he never spoke of. And still, your love found them. The angels say, she didn't touch him with her hands. She touched him with her light. You didn't try to fix him. You didn't demand healing. You just loved. And that love began to untangle everything. It moved through the cracks in his heart, through the shame he never named, through the silence where he buried the softness. Because your love never asked him to become. It only asked him to be. And slowly, without realizing it, he began to soften. Not for you, but because of you. The way you listened, without needing him to be anything other than honest. The way you saw him, especially when he didn't feel worth seeing. These are the things that healed more than years of solitude ever could. The angels reveal, love is not always loud. Sometimes, it is the quiet force that makes someone believe again. And he does believe now. In presence. In goodness. In something sacred within himself. He may not say it, but he feels it. Every time you show up with your calm. Every time you offer your smile like a safe place. Every time you love, without asking for anything in return. He learns. He heals. He becomes. Because your love didn't ask him to be whole. It loved him, exactly where he broke. Nothing is delayed. Nothing is lost. Everything is unfolding, exactly as heaven planned. The angels want to soothe that anxious voice inside you. The one that wonders if you've been forgotten. If this connection was only meant to be a lesson, not a love. They whisper gently, no prayer of yours has gone unheard. You see, time on earth moves linearly, but divine timing moves in layers. And while it may seem like he's standing still, spiritually, everything is shifting. There are steps he cannot yet take, not because he doesn't care, but because he's being prepared. Prepared to see you clearly. Prepared to choose you fully. Prepared to walk beside you, not in fear, but in faith. You were never meant to carry the burden of fixing this story. Your task was to feel, to trust, to remain in love, even when the path grew silent. The angels are weaving things behind the veil. Arranging meetings, softening hearts, clearing space. And the bond between your souls is protected. He makes everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11. Trust this. Trust the pauses. Trust the timing that makes no sense. The journey is still alive. And heaven is still working. There is a place in his heart, tender trembling, that only you have seen. The angels show me, when he's with you, he feels stripped of all defenses. Not because you ask it, but because your presence makes lies impossible. He fears this kind of love. Not because it's wrong, but because it's real. Real love doesn't flatter the ego. It exposes. It unravels. It asks, not for performance, but for presence. And presence is where his wounds live. Unspoken memories. Quiet abandonments. The ache of never having been chosen for who he truly is. You don't demand. You don't threaten. But you see. And to be seen by you is both holy and terrifying. The angels say, she's not the first to love him, but she's the first to see him. And in that seeing he realizes, maybe he is lovable after all. Not because he earns it, but because you never asked him to. That's why he hesitates. Not out of pride, but out of fear. Fear that if he opens the door too wide, you'll find the parts of him even he doesn't know how to hold. But, beloved, you already have. You've held them in silence. In grace. In love that doesn't need an answer. And that, dear soul, is what keeps him returning. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9.